It was supposed to be a perfect day at Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua, New Hampshire, a day filled with laughter, love, and the promise of new beginnings. Friends and family gathered from near and far, dressed in their finest, ready to witness a couple start their journey together. The sun shone brightly, and the air was filled with excitement as guests arrived, exchanging hugs and smiles, eager for the celebration to begin. But in an instant, the joyful atmosphere was shattered by sudden, unthinkable violence this past weekend. The sound of sirens and the sight of flashing emergency lights replaced the music and laughter that had filled the air only moments before. As gunshots rang out, panic swept through the crowd. Guests who had just been dancing and celebrating were suddenly running for cover, desperately searching for loved ones amid the chaos. The sense of safety and happiness was replaced by confusion and terror as people scrambled to escape the danger. The once beautiful wedding setup was left abandoned, with overturned chairs and tables serving as stark reminders of the fear that gripped everyone present. Faces that had been beaming with joy now showed only shock and disbelief as the reality of what had happened began to sink in. In the aftermath, the entire community has been left reeling. A candlelight vigil was held to honor the life lost, and people gathered to leave flowers and share in their grief. Mourners embraced, finding comfort in each other as they tried to process the tragedy that had unfolded in their midst. Now, the focus has shifted from celebration to healing. Support groups have formed, volunteers are helping the injured, and neighbors are reaching out to console one another. The community is coming together, determined to support those most deeply affected by this senseless act of violence. As investigators work tirelessly to piece together the events of that tragic day, Nashua faces a long and difficult road to recovery. But in the face of heartbreak, the community's resilience and compassion shine through, offering hope that, together, they can begin to heal. The attack began without warning, an unexpected eruption of violence that shattered the serene atmosphere of the country club. 6 shots were fired into the crowd, plunging the wedding into a state of sheer panic. Guests, who moments before were celebrating a joyous occasion, now found themselves scrambling for safety. Witness Tom Bartleson described the scene as chaotic, with people ducking, running, and hiding wherever they could. Amidst the chaos, the shooter's voice rang out, shouting, "The children are safe!" and "Free Palestine!" adding a layer of confusion to the terror. The motive behind the attack remains unclear, but the shooter's words have left many puzzled and searching for answers. The sudden violence and cryptic messages have only deepened the mystery. Some believe the shooter may have been targeting a specific individual at the event, but authorities have not confirmed any details. The investigation is ongoing, with law enforcement working tirelessly to piece together the events leading up to the attack. First responders arrived quickly, securing the scene and providing immediate assistance to the wounded. Their swift action helped to prevent further casualties and brought a semblance of order to the chaos. The once beautiful venue, adorned for a celebration, was transformed into a crime scene. Police tape cordoned off the area as investigators began their meticulous work, searching for clues and gathering evidence. Guests were escorted out by police, their faces etched with shock and disbelief. What was meant to be a day of joy and celebration had turned into a nightmare, leaving them to grapple with the trauma of the unexpected attack. Authorities have identified the suspect in this heartbreaking incident as 23-year-old Hunter Nadeau, a local resident whose name is now at the center of this tragedy. Law enforcement officials acted swiftly, responding to the emergency call within minutes and quickly locating Nadeau at the scene. He was taken into custody without further incident, as officers worked to secure the area and ensure the safety of everyone present. The arrest unfolded in full view of shocked witnesses, many of whom were still reeling from the chaos that had just erupted. The shooting claimed the life of 59-year-old Stephen DeCesare, a beloved guest at the wedding. Stephen had no known connection to the shooter, making his loss all the more senseless and devastating for his family and friends. In addition to Stephen's tragic death, 2 other adults suffered gunshot wounds and were rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. Out of respect for their privacy, authorities have not released their names or specific conditions, but it is known that they are receiving ongoing medical care. The bride, groom, and all the wedding guests are left deeply traumatized, their special day forever marked by grief and shock. What should have been a joyful celebration has instead become a day of unimaginable sorrow and loss. The entire Nashua community is struggling to comprehend how such violence could strike so close to home. Residents are coming together, supporting one another as they try to process the events and begin the long journey toward healing. The emotional impact of this tragedy extends far beyond those who were physically harmed. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers are feeling the weight of this loss, united in their grief and their determination to support the victims and their families. As the community gathers for vigils and memorials, it is clear that healing will take time. For everyone touched by this tragedy, the road ahead will be long, but together, they are finding strength in unity and hope for brighter days. The New Hampshire Attorney General's Office and Nashua Police are leading the investigation. Hunter Nadeau faces a second-degree murder charge, with more charges expected for the wounded victims. Authorities are releasing only confirmed details, stressing the investigation is ongoing. The motive remains a mystery, with no known link between Nadeau and DeCesare. Investigators are gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and building a timeline. Law enforcement urges patience and cautions against speculation. Their goal: a thorough investigation and answers for a grieving community. Today, Hunter Nadeau is scheduled for arraignment at Nashua's Ninth Circuit Court. The legal process begins, with charges read and bail addressed. Investigators continue collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses. The case may grow more complex as additional charges are considered. For Nashua, the focus is on healing, supporting victims, and mourning Stephen DeCesare. The community faces a long journey toward recovery, united in grief and hope for justice.